reach the top somehow.
Yes, my Straight Talk family, let's keep moving on because the time is gone. And it's time for me to say a very pleasant night to you, my Straight Talk family, in St. Kitts and Nevis, first of all, and throughout the entire Caribbean, and certainly I should say throughout the entire world, because we are on the World Wide Web, my Straight Talk family. And we thank you for being there. And we say good night. We can say good morning. We can say good afternoon, because one of such greetings will be applicable to the region in which you now find yourselves. I know that some of you are in Africa. There's some of you in Europe. There's some of you in Asia. And there are a whole lot of you all over North America. So I am at liberty to say good night. Like I said, I will say good morning, and I can also say good afternoon, because one of such greetings will certainly be applicable to the region in which you now find yourselves. I must too as well apologize for my tardy start tonight. I know it's getting a little often, but sometimes this happens when you are in fact, my Straight Talk family have to be dealing with technology. That's what happens at times, my Straight Talk family. But I welcome you, and to the first timers in particular, I say greetings. And just to let you know that Straight Talk is a public service program that facilitates and promotes free expression on all issues of national interest, be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, social, economic, and or political issues. On Straight Talk, you do have a forum to express yourselves freely. And let us, in the process, strive to get St. Kitts and Nevis back to that enviable position of being number one in the world. And my Straight Talk family, on this program, we try to raise the level of national consciousness. We try to raise the level of national discourse by alerting our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and certainly to their obligations. And my name is Ian Patches Liburd, and I thank Almighty God for blessing me with yet another opportunity to join you in conversation, my Street Dog family, on yet another occasion. And as your host, I remain an untiring advocate. I remain an untiring advocate of truthfulness, as I always remind myself of the words, my Street Dog family. I always remind myself of the words of a favorite hymn of mine, and an excerpt goes something like this. We are called to be God's prophets, speaking for the truth and right, standing firm for godly justice, bringing evil things to light. So let us seek the courage needed, our high calling to fulfill, that we all may know the blessing of the doing of God's will. And my Street Talk family, we do have our normal observations in review, which I'll move right into them because I'm a bit late tonight. But I must also tell you that my thesis as well, I have titled All That Glitters Is Not Gold. I must first as well hail the young brigade, because those are the ones, our future. Tristan, Shamar, Kevin, Rue, Travis, Travon, and what about that special lady as well, my Street Dog family. So we normally move into our observations and review, which is a time when we highlight the current issues and do some reflection. We may then ask a few questions like what has happened since. And we met just last week Thursday. One whole week has gone and so many things have happened. What have we accomplished, my Street Dog family? How has it helped others? What has changed, and what can we expect next? And what, of course, we have learned as a people, because it's all about a learning process as well. Here on Street Talk, it's about a learning process. We want to learn from things that are new. I know there's some folks asking about the Street Talk feed on Facebook. It's on the Honorable Ian Patches Liburd page and not on the Street Talk page for whatever reason, but we'll get to that, my Street Talk family. And those of you who are using Alexa as well, my Street Talk family, you remember, just say Alexa and ask for Massive Vibes Radio. That's a paid program that we connect with and connect you to the world, or connect with the world, I may just say, my Street Dog family. And Labor Day has come and Labor Day has gone, my Street Dog family. It has come and it has gone. And it was a day when we ought to celebrate workers. But Monday gone was declared the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party Carnival Day and Street Parade. And recall that the slow student mixed no matters when he said this to us, my Street Dog family. Would you believe that? Would you believe that, my Street Dog family?
Comrades of Labour,
Slow student.
Monday is our time. Monday is Labour's Carnival and Street Parade.
Yes, that's not in my ears, but I'm sure.
Carnival and
my Street Dog family. And that's what the slow student said about Monday gone. And it was really a sad time to see how they really politicized that particular day, my Street Dog family. And we looking at what's happening here in terms with that particular parade, which was, as per usual, as we say and we have seen, it was actually poorly attended as well, my street dog family. Very poorly attended, and we have seen that on that particular day, it was not about workers. It was about politics. And so sad that we've had to keep up with that, my street dog family. But what a shame. It failed miserably from all accounts, my street dog family. And as we move on the important issue of renewable energy as well, we are still not hearing anything about that solar farm, the 36 megawatt solar farm contract which was signed, a PPA, power purchase agreement which was signed since during the Team Unity administration, and like most other projects frustrated by the incumbent July Labour administration. And things are so hard in the country. Electricity costs gone up high, food costs has gone up high, and while the special advisor did in fact say it's a good project, we still ask the question, why is it not being implemented? It's been delayed, and we know it's a good project, but time is longer than twine, they said. And my Straight Talk family, again, we are happy as well to report. We are extremely happy, as I said, to report that last week Thursday, the Bureau of Standards was engaged. Yes, believe it or not. And we saw the Bureau of Standards taking or collecting samples of water. And I'm happy to report that after the arrogance displayed by Soca engineer Conris, you remember when he did this, my Straight Dog family. How many of us recall this?
I'm going to take a little tip. Fresh clear water.
And yes, after the arrogance displayed by the Soca engineer, we are happy that common sense prevailed and professionalism seemed to have prevailed. I give credit, I don't know, to the manager and water engineer for allowing his profession to prevail over his politics. Because as I said, last week Thursday, the Bureau of Standards was seen at Keon, at that well there collecting samples. And that's what people ask for. People ask for the proper steps to be taken in respect of the water quality issues or issue that could have arisen. And my Straight Talk family, I want to inform all those who would have been calling me, right? I have it on sound information that the Bureau of Standards, I am here, I still have to verify, but the Bureau of Standards apparently gave an all clear. So the people of Keon, must sleep a little better now that we have learned that the process was undertaken rather, and the politics was put aside, and the water we understand is of good quality. And that's what we wanted to hear from the authorities, that the water is of good quality. We won't say it was bad, we couldn't say it was good, but we now can say from this platform that I am reliably informed, again, that the Bureau of Standards was belatedly contacted and requested to do what they should have done so long ago, my Street Talk family. And that's good news for me and good news for the people of Keon as well, my Street Talk family. And for my other observation, crime is still rampant in St. Kitts and Nevis. As since this last episode of Straight Talk, murders have escalated to 13, thus shattering the foolish prediction of the National Security Advisor, Lionel Wusi Rollins. Remember, Rollins said this, my Straight Talk family. Remember this?
If we had one murder a month for 2024, as terrible as it sounds, we will only have 12.
My Straight Talk, my Straight Talk family, we seem to have, I lost my sound in my headset. I'm happy now, sorry about that. Sadly, this means that we have, nonetheless, we have some 52 murders since Terence Michael Drew has assumed the role of Prime Minister and Minister of National Security. 52 murders. And he had not said much until today. So after 52 murders since assuming the role of Minister of National Security, 52 murders in just 20 months, my Straight Talk family. Prime Minister July ran to the Parliament today, amended the legislation that to some is now draconian. 40 years maximum imprisonment in some cases. July applied what I call political brinksmanship by creating the impression that he is willing to use extreme methods rather than concede to his incompetence. But research has shown, my Straight Talk family, that putting most people convicted of crimes behind bars for lengthy sentences do not deter crime. Instead, there are solutions advanced that can deliver real public safety and justice while repairing the harm. And those ideas of our current system we should try to achieve. Because for preventing crime, solutions include community violence intervention programs, which have been shown to reduce homicides in some jurisdictions and shootings. And this is done by building relationships with the people. I see they talk about community policing. How far it has gone into the communities, we don't know. But relationships with the people at the center of gun violence in communities is imperative, as well as investing in schools, healthcare, and other services, resources, and supports that that communities need to thrive. And my Straight Talk family, for promoting accountability and repairing harm, survivors of crime have said, based on my own research, that they prefer more proactive measures such as education or job programming, mental health treatment, drug treatment, or community service rather than prison sentences. But all I can say, my Straight Talk family, time will tell. And we wish our country well, and we trust that these measures would bear some fruit. And those are my observations for tonight, my Straight Talk family. And I'll move right into my thesis as well. And as I intimated earlier, it is titled, All That Glitters Is Not Gold. And let me say from the onset, my Straight Talk family, that I am not a student of literature, but somewhere I read, or perhaps I heard my friend Tony Ross KC, King's Counsel, who always quotes Shakespeare as if he walks around with a literature book of Shakespeare in his cranium, in his head, in his brain. And so I found that quotation, I found out rather that quotation, all that glitters is not gold, is a saying that refers to a line in the Shakespeare play, The Merchant of Venice, read from a note in Act 2, Scene 7. And the phrase, all that glitters is not gold, expresses in a figure of speech a beautiful metaphor that makes a comparison between two things that are non-similar. And the idea that things appear to be extremely valuable on the surface, such as gold, is quite often deceptive, I may add. And in that case, my Straight Talk family, frequently, the more modest or simple looking things in life have the kind of substance or material that makes them appear to be more valuable. I also learned that the expression, all that glitters is not gold, dates as far back to the 12th century, as it was the French monk Alain de Lille who wrote in 1175, do not hold everything gold that shines like gold. It was Shakespeare, however, who created the current version of the phrase, which stimulated the public perception of that fact. And to avoid getting into trouble with those who pursued the academic subject literature, I must state that the original line in the play is all that glistens is not gold, my Straight Talk family. And some people use the word glisters. The modern phrase uses the word glitters, which is a variance of the early modern English word glistens. And the full quote reads, my Straight Talk family, "Oh, hell, what have we here? A carrion death within whose empty eye. There's a written scroll, I'll read the writing. All that glistens is not gold. Often have you heard that told, many a man his life hath sold. But my outside to behold, gilded tombs do worms enfold. Had you been as wise as bold, young in limbs, in judgment old, your answer had not been inscrolled. Fare you well, your suit is cold." But my Straight Talk family, since I intend to use the full quote, all that glitters is not gold, I believe it is important that I provide some context along with an explanation, which I have decided to do. my straight dog family. And there is no better way to do so than sharing a Facebook post from a labor stalwart who I know and who believes that she is more labor than Terence Michael July and or anyone else in his cabinet. And this labor stalwart posted this on her Facebook page, my straight dog family. And we can read it. I grew up hearing that PAM means people after money. The table has turned. The SKNLP has hijacked and adopted the slogan in grand style. Their closely knit circle of grabbers take all cannot survive without the coffers of the taxpayers. They are receiving pension, social security, and board membership fees. In addition, a lucrative job with the government to do what? These persons, some of whom have passed the age of retirement, cannot relax at home or bask in the sunshine. What a pity. Too much, but never enough. My people, the disadvantageous regime has certainly lost its way and pretending that everything is okay. This is indicative of the governance style. Proceed on vacation and you'll be unceremoniously replaced by an actor. Does it look and sound familiar? The T-Munity's government's behavior was not different. The Abba Saba effect. And that post, my straight dog family, from a labor stalwart. And her name is listed there, so I need not call it. And like the Shakespeare account, my straight dog family, of beautiful, educated, and highly accomplished young Portia, who was left with a fortune on the death of her wealthy father. Terence Michael July and his misfits in a cabinet were left with a golden opportunity to make a real difference in the lives of every single man, woman, boy and girl in our federation. Many of whom, my straight dog family, were traumatized by a coronavirus-induced pandemic, never seen in a century, and one that brought the world to a complete halt, brought the world to a complete standstill. How many of us recall that? Yet you will hear a heartless leader touting nonsense about the lifting of all COVID restrictions. And he continues to repeat this nonsense so often, my straight dog family, it irritates.
The lifting of all COVID-related travel restrictions in August 2022. And I will say it was August 7th, 2022, a Sunday night at our Marriott Hotel, where that decision was made with all of the relevant persons in the room, including the CMO and others. I will say it again. The lifting of all COVID-related travel restrictions in August 2022 sparked a strong rebound in the tourism sector and across the economy, end of quote. IMF stating it. Remember, Madam Speaker, I said to the people that a travesty had been committed when the then administration refused to open the economy fully by removing the unnecessary restrictions. Had we not done that, the economy would have lagged even more. And because we took so long to open up the country and remove the restrictions, the economy lagged. Reports will show that the St. Kitts Nevis economy recovered almost the slowest in the OECS as a result of this. All of the other countries had removed their restrictions and they were open for business to the point where some countries had higher numbers in terms of their tourism numbers than even 2019, Madam Speaker. However, St. Kitts and Nevis lagged because the previous administration refused to open up the country, and we are still feeling some of the effect from that. Had the economy been opened up as others, at the same time as others, we would have recovered since by the end of 2023.
And my Sweetalk family, other countries, he said, had higher numbers in respect of their tourism numbers. Those are his words. But why isn't Dr. July, guided by the profound wisdom encapsulated in the Hippocratic Oath, to which all doctors ought to be committed, my Sweetalk family? All doctors. My doctor friend told me that this oath contains a clear principle that forms the backbone of medical ethics and summarizes, the essence of patient care. The doctor's commandment, he said, is first, do no harm. So, is our leader so daft that he does not understand that this was not about the economic recovery being the slowest, but instead it was about our COVID deaths being the lowest in the entire world, I may add, my Sweetalk family, when we look at the COVID deaths according to the statistics. And the statistics are very clear. I posted them before, so I wonder, why does July continue to peddle this nonsense? Look at St. Kitts. 46 deaths too many. Comment and look at Barbados, St. Lucia, Guyana, my Sweetalk family. Hundreds of deaths. Grenada. The lowest of all, because of what we introduced back then, and I happened to be a member of the cabinet. The Life First strategy, which was recommended by the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Hazel Laws, the Medical Chief of Staff, Dr. Cameron Wilkinson, and the Health Emergency Operations Committee, HEOC. And because of this strategy, which guided our response to COVID-19, we had 46 deaths too many, and the lowest count of deaths in the world, my Sweetalk family. All because of this strategy, my Sweetalk family.
At the same time, having waited to be the last to fully open our borders, we are able to benefit from the experiences, good and bad, of those countries that have gone before. And so we feel that we have done the right thing in keeping the country safe, because that has always been our priority. Life first. We hear the arguments which certain people make regarding livelihoods. But we say in St. Kitts and Nevis, there can be no livelihood without life. So the first priority is to keep the people of St. Kitts and Nevis healthy, so that they can engage as productive citizens in the socio-economic life of the country. So we are doing that delicate balancing act, but keeping the priority. If we are to err, it must be a precautionary health principle, because we want to keep our people safe. We want to avoid the overwhelming of our health sector. We hear that has happened in New York, in London, and elsewhere across the globe. So we are learning from that experience. We are going to be opening up our hotel sector fully at the end of October. And we are inviting the rest of the world to come, witness and enjoy a wonderful experience in a tropical paradise called St. Kitts and Nevis. We are ready to do business, to do it in a safe and proper way that would enhance their own value and give them an experience of a lifetime.
And yes, my Straight Talk family, it was all about a life-first strategy. One more time.
On the 24th of March,
it's about this,
2020,
my Straight Talk family.
We were all in shock at the news of the first 2 imported cases of COVID-19 into our Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. As the Prime Minister and leader of this country, for me it was a call to action, and I sought to calm the nation, knowing that we had done all the necessary preparedness for this eventuality. We kept science always at the core of every decision we made and were not swayed by the detractors. Our strategy had as its main principle saving the lives of our people. It was a life-first strategy.
And yes, my Straight Talk family, that's what it was about, a life-first strategy. And yet, yes, July has this childish grin, but all that glitters is not gold, my Straight Talk family. He's not a child. He is just daft and dangerous. So too, my Straight Talk family, is his Attorney General, Garth Lucifer Wilkin, who has this boyish looking face, but he's the most crooked Attorney General ever to be appointed in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis since adult suffrage. And my Straight Talk family, we have applied his own criterion, my Straight Talk family, his own criterion we have applied. And this was his criterion, which went something like this, my Straight Talk family.
And I believe that it's important to know that no true leader, no leader that excels in a leadership role can do so without integrity. And what is integrity? It's the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles. Honesty, sincerity, strong moral principles. These are the key elements of integrity. Whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but he who makes his ways crooked will be found out. Amen.
And my Straight Talk family, it wasn't long before he was found out. It wasn't long at all. It was not long that we soon found out that he broke the law. Yet he is still our chief legal advisor. So when you see him, my Straight Talk family, when you see him, like today in Parliament or on the streets of Basseterre, just remember that all that glitters is not gold, my Straight Talk family. But there is a danger lurking within the Federation, my Straight Talk family. There's a danger lurking within the Federation, as there is a political predator, my Straight Talk family, across the Narrows, patiently waiting like a black mamba snake to exert his harmful or destructive influence on the development of geothermal in Nevis. It is important to state from the onset that geothermal development is a subject matter that brings with it a plethora of legacy issues. It brings with it so many issues, my Stray Dog family. So many issues it brings with it, my Stray Dog family. And for that reason, it is fair and objective to state as well, again, that all that glitters is not gold, my Stray Dog family. All that glitters is not gold. To put these issues into context, it must be said that efforts to develop this project began 20 years ago in 2004, my Stray Dog family. Efforts to develop this geothermal project in Nevis. Believe it or not.
This geothermal project, has been an exercise that has now occupied the minds of governments, and even through change of governments on the island of Nevis since about 2004. And so as we stand here today in November of 2017, we're talking about nigh 13 years that we have been trying to get to a point where we can move this project forward. I think the advantages of geothermal are well known. We're talking about clean energy, green energy, cheaper energy, and a renewable resource that really puts Nevis in a category of its own. If we can achieve what we intend to achieve here, it means that Nevis becomes fossil fuel free for this generation of electricity. It puts us really in a category of our own in the Caribbean and perhaps in the world in terms of being completely sustainable for our electricity supply.
And yes, my Stray Dog family, it came with legacy issues. It is also important to state as well that the one currently leading the project has preceded him, or has preceded with a track record of never completing one single project in Nevis. And that one I'm referring to is the snake Mark Brantley. He was, however, specially assigned to lead this geothermal project by the then Premier and late Vance Amory. He said this, my Stray Dog family.
I am not the Minister of Energy, of course, but the Cabinet, in its wisdom, decided to have me deal with this specific project because of my prior involvement in 2004 and continuing when this project originally started way back when. We have made, I think, considerable progress. I want to thank the SIDF that has provided some resources to bring us to this point. I want to thank Bruce, Dan, NREI, Thermal Energy Partners. I want to thank our drillers who have come. And I'm especially pleased that I was told this morning that 6 residents have been employed thus far on this.
My Stray Dog family, the snake Mark Brantley said in 2018 as well that the PPA, a power purchase agreement, was signed, and he was hopeful. Yes, my Stray Dog family, he said this, in spite of what he's saying now. These are all the things he said back then. That snake.
The issue has been financing, and we've had various discussions with various financiers. Many of them have argued that the project is too small. They say they want a much larger project for bigger scale, etc. But we have insisted that the first power that comes from geothermal must power the people of Jessops and Barnesgate and Brownhill. Anything thereafter we can sell to others. But for us, this must first benefit the people who are here. And so we have committed to a 10 megawatt arrangement with them. I believe that's what it was. A power purchase agreement was signed with them, as is a requirement, because they use that to go out and seek financing. There was one with West Indies Power as well, back then, under the NRP. And we would have made disclosure of that in the House here, I believe way back in 2014. And the objective now is for them to secure the financing. I'm told that they're very close. That's what they said to me. They have now CDB and IDB that are involved with them. They have BlackRock Securities, a large private equity firm that's involved with them. And I'm hopeful.
Hopefully, said my Stray Dog family. And that was back then. So when you hear that snake uttering the things he's uttering now, we have to be wary. We have to be careful. And things have once again changed 6 years later. In 2018, he signed the PPA agreement. He went on his own. He said it was for Nevis. Nevis will have to benefit first. And you can't fault him for that. But confusing signals are now being sent 6 years later. By July, and the same snake, Mark Brantley, about this geothermal development, which is estimated to cost $400 million. Yes, hear me, $400 million, according to the IMF report that's posted on your monitors. It's there, my Stray Dog family, for all to see. July's comment about signing an MOU, my Stray Dog family. July's comment about signing an MOU is supposed to do what? Ask yourselves, my Stray Dog family, about to do what? Should we get excited? Because this exposes the level of his understanding of how things work. He gloated about this, my Stray Dog family.
Now, with respect to the investment that is to take place with the geothermal, as you know, they have signed an MOU, which is significant. If we know who Siemens is, and we know who the KNK group from the UAE as a group, who they are. The Siemens has signed that MOU, and they want to now come. We have sent them all the information that we have, and they are now coming in to, of course, do their own preliminary assessment, or their own assessment rather. And that would determine, then they will put forward what would be their proposal with respect to geothermal.
But we know, my Stray Dog family, that no memorandum of understanding is binding. An MOU is like the minutes of the meeting that is recorded, like the one he went to in Dubai. The snake Mark Brantley understands that, nonetheless, and no doubt planted this question at his last press conference to respond to July and the nonsense he peddled.
Good morning, Mr. Premier. Elke Hewlett, Department of Information. We recently saw news out of St. Kitts that there was some signing of an MOU in Abu Dhabi, I think it was, where Prime Minister Dr. Terence True would have witnessed that signing. However, it was Nevis was notably absent from that engagement. We didn't see you or anyone else there representing Nevis, considering it's a Nevis geothermal project. Can you say why Nevis was not represented at this meeting? And do you have any further information about this MOU and what it means for the moving forward the project on Nevis?
And my Stray Dog family, his response was this, my Stray Dog family. Very clever response.
Ms. Hewlett, yes, I too saw the news of signing of a memorandum of understanding in the United Arab Emirates. witnessed by the Prime Minister, which I'm told involved companies, Siemens, which is a well-known German company that does turbines and machinery, and a company called KKK, which I'm told is a significant real estate developer and financial institution involved in various industries. The Prime Minister obviously would have had his trip planned to the United Arab Emirates. He did inform me that he was planning on taking this trip and that he hoped while he was there to meet with potential investors as we try jointly to get this geothermal project off the ground. He, whilst in the Middle East, he did call me and indicate to me that he had had useful meetings with Siemens and with KKK, and that they were minded to sign an MOU. Now, I want to be very clear that an MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding, is not a contract. It is nothing that is binding in relation to creating any contractual agreements or commitments. It merely sets out the parties' interests in relation to this project.
But my Straight Talk family, recall as well that earlier a resolution was also tabled and adopted in the National Assembly. But I want to say tonight as well that that resolution, that too, is not binding. Geothermal development is not around the corner, given the associated legacy issues going back 20 years regarding sustainability and the need to build resilience, but continue to be sent in this era of climate change. But lest we forget, no matter what the snake would try to peddle, Brantley got millions of dollars for Nevis to develop geothermal, my Straight Talk family. He got millions, believe it or not, my Straight Talk family. And he confessed he got millions.
Unity took office in 2015. We got the geothermal project, 7.7 million.
Yes, 7.7 million, my Straight Talk family. But the snake, Brantley, never gave a report on how this $7.7 million was spent. And he still ought to tell the country where the money gone. But it's $7.7 million gone. And we know he's a bad spender. But he has found a friend and an ally and an incompetent leader at the helm of the Federation, whose greatest asset is a lie. My Straight Talk family, his greatest asset is a lie. My Straight Talk family. He repeats so many lies, no doubt thinking that people would eventually believe them. My Straight Talk family, our political landscape is so polarized and fragmented. The CBI, my Straight Talk family, is failing. It's failing with all the challenges, my Straight Talk family. It is failing.
Because the rough patch is going to come because of the CBI program. The CBI program has taken a hit. I will in the next 2 weeks or so, but in short order, 2 weeks to a month, have a statement on the CBI program. Now that we are completing its audit and why it's under, why it's facing some challenges and why. That is.
My Straight Talk family, it must fail because we have our CBI and in particular the public benefit option is headed by a convicted French criminal called Philippe Martinez of MSR Media Limited, the only approved benefactor to date, my Straight Talk family. And we asked the question, but get no answers. How could a criminal be the face of the St. Kitts Nevis Citizenship by Investment Program, our CBI? How could a criminal be the face of our program? But truth be told, my straight dog family, I said it before and it bears repeating. Philippe Martinez is like a used car that the snake Mark Brantley sold to Dr. July, who was not even smart enough, not even clever enough to first take the used car to a mechanic for a thorough inspection before he bought it. But he bought the car anyway. My straight dog family, we need the public courage to stand up and challenge these so-called politicians who are behaving like institutional criminals, my straight dog family. That's the way they are behaving. Look at what's happening in the offshore financial or banking sector in Nevis as we speak. We must ask, where is the Financial Services Regulatory Commission in Nevis? The FSRC in Nevis, like the FSRC in St. Kitts, is a regulatory body for financial services and for anti-money laundering, for corruption and other crimes, my straight dog family. But numerous complaints from customers and claims have been filed in the court, but to no avail. Yes, claims have been filed, my straight dog family. Exclusive Trust Company, for over $650 million US dollars. And medical marketing as well, over $450 million or $450,000. I take that back. $650,000, my straight dog family, filed by the Exclusive Trust Company. And I mentioned medical marketing as well for $450,000 US dollars. How could this be allowed to continue, my straight dog family? How could this be allowed to continue? Why are the doors of the Bank of Nevis International Limited still open? The Nevis Island Administration issued the banking license. The snake Mark Brantley has oversight of that sector as the Minister of Foreign Affairs in Nevis. What is the FSRC in Nevis doing about this? Is a fair question. What is the Prime Minister and Minister of Finance in the federal government doing about this? What is the crooked Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkin doing about this? Are they going to wait until Nevis is blacklisted? If Nevis is blacklisted, then St. Kitts will be automatically blacklisted as well. The FSRC in Nevis is quiet. The FSRC in St. Kitts is quiet. And the crooked Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkin is also quiet. And so too, the Prime Minister, Dr. July, he is also quiet. While the fugitive and Chief Executive Officer of the Bank of Nevis International Limited, Michael Press, is on the run, on the loose. Meanwhile, scores of his customers, of his clients, cannot recover the millions of dollars they invested with this financial institution. My straight dog family, that's what I tell you. All that glitters is not gold, my straight dog family. We spoke earlier about the geothermal development on Nevis that requires $400 million to become a reality, if it ever does. And hear this, the NIA under the snake Mark Brantley is broke. So where would that money come from? We must ask ourselves. Should the federal government put this St. Kitts treasury at risk? Will this be another CBI revenue of fair share issue? How would the revenue from geothermal, once it comes to fruition, how will that revenue be shared? The snake Mark Brantley brought down his own team unity government because he wanted a fair share, according to him. The third Prime Minister, Timothy Harris, went to the World Bank, my straight dog family, for advice on revenue sharing or sharing of the CBI revenue. Remember this, my straight dog family.
Inform colleagues that further progress has been made with the World Bank giving its consent to undertake a study to advise an equitable revenue sharing arrangements between the federal government and the Nevis Island administration. In the interim, the budgetary support to our sister island of Nevis has been increased as per the request of the Honorable Premier.
So don't be fooled, my stray dog family. Don't be fooled when the fourth Prime Minister, July, being interviewed by Glenn Bath, trying to make the point that he took that issue to the World Bank. The third Prime Minister did that. So when he says this, do not be fooled by July.
I have sat with the FS and also communicated with Nevis that we have asked the World Bank to study St. Kitts and Nevis and to present to us a model for revenue sharing. I think that what it offers is to have a reputable, independent, expert organization to study it and deliver it to us so that when it comes, whatever it says, it will bring a deep sense of impartiality and fairness to the outcome. So that is being pursued.
My stray dog family, we need to ask some questions. Why would the World Bank, with all its expertise, take 2 years to develop a model to share $500 million between two little islands, St. Kitts and Nevis, with a small population of some 54 or 53,000 people? My stray dog family, ask yourselves a question. We must also be suspicious of a man who said that he spent his whole political career fighting the Labour Party, my straight dog family. He has gone quiet. Ask yourselves, why, after he's fighting the Labour Party for his whole political career, he's just gone quiet? Ask yourselves why, my straight dog family.
In my own country, I've spent a political career fighting against the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party.
My straight dog family, our CBI is failing. Our offshore banking sector is corrupted. Crime is on the rise. The cost of living is getting higher and higher. And our leaders, our present or current leaders, are stuck in the past. All they tell you is what happened or did not happen 7 years ago. How could anyone drive a car going forward while looking in the rearview mirror? How could they? That's July Labour, my straight dog family. For 2 years they have been in office, but still do not understand that they were elected to serve and should begin to serve all the people, and not some of the people, all the people, my Straight Dog family. But I will end with the geothermal, my Straight Dog family. And I ask the question, my Straight Dog family. Do we know that the resource is governed by the Nevis Geothermal Ordinance, my Straight Dog family? Do we know this, my Straight Dog family? Yes, it is. The Nevis Geothermal Resources Development Ordinance, an ordinance to provide for the reconnaissance, exploration, drilling, production, and use of geothermal resources, and for vesting all such resources in the Crown, and to provide for related incidental matters, my Straight Dog family. But look at Section 2, my Straight Dog family. Read it. Let's read it together. It is the duty of the Crown, that means the NIA, to promote the exploration for and development of its geothermal resources in such a manner as to assure the supply of energy necessary for the economic growth and general welfare of the people of Nevis, and to decrease the dependency of Nevis on non-renewable resource or resources. Not one mention, my Straight Dog family, about St. Kitts Nevis. And this is where I get cautious, and we ought to be. Because this snake, I spoke earlier about sharing the revenue from geothermal if it becomes a reality. Well, the snake Mark Brantley brought down his own government because of a revenue sharing issue. The snake Mark Brantley will not discuss the repealing of the 113 clause in the Constitution, I'm sure. But he must discuss the repeal of this ordinance if it is to be a national asset. When will that ordinance be repealed, Snake Brantley? Before you get the $400 million, or after you get it? Would you put the $400 million in this project with the snake Mark Brantley leading it? Would you? I asked the question. Would you put $400 million in this project with the snake Mark Brantley leading it? I hear you say, hell no. And my Straight Dog family, that's why it's easy to conclude that all that glitters is not gold. And that's my story tonight, my Straight Dog family, and I am not going to change it. I will open the lines, though, and entertain your calls and your emails. And remember, the numbers are listed here on your screen, on your monitors, I should say. 646-829-6672 and 663-6672. I always like to implore you to respect others. And when I do so, I anticipate that you will, my Straight Dog family, say the things that would be beneficial to all concerned. And in the process of saying and doing those things, let us strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. With that said, at 9:18, I go to the lines, my Straight Dog family. I trust I'll hear these calls in my headset. Calling you live.
Good evening, Mr. Liburd. The quotation for this evening by Harry S. Truman is show me a man that gets rich by being a politician, and I'll show you a crook. Repeat, show me a man that gets rich by being a politician, and I'll show you a crook. Have a great evening.
Have a great evening as well. Very interesting perspective. Let's go back to the lines. I'll call you live. Hello, caller. Are you there, caller? I'm sorry. Caller, I am sorry. I knocked you off inadvertently. I trust you'll get back as soon as possible. Yeah, let's go back to the lines. Caller, are you there?
Again.
Hello, sir. The Bible man. How about thou tonight?
Again.
How are you, sir?
Bye. I can't go with you, bye.
You're batting number 2 tonight, man. They can't go with me, man.
You can't go with you, bye.
I have a new...
You have God enough.
I have a new opening bat. What's on your mind, the Bible man?
Lord have mercy, man, battling. Oh, yeah. Boy. But then I am an intelligent man, eh?
I know that.
Don't play with me.
I know that.
You know that?
Yes.
And you just know? Okay. Hear me what I'm telling you now. Psalm 41. And blessed is the man that considereth the poor. In the time of trouble, the Lord shall deliver him. Father, we are living in a time in the last and closing days when things are upside down. And all what happening, it is a time that Jesus is coming soon. And as the word of God said in 107 Psalm, oh, give thanks unto the Lord for his good.
Endureth forever.
For his mercy endureth forever. He said, let the redeemed of the Lord say so. Who he had redeemed from the hands of the enemy. That is the word of God said, when you see these things, Matthew chapter 24 says, when you see these things, look up, because your redemption joy night. Psalms 118 said, it is better to put trust in the Lord and put confidence in princes. It is better to put trust in the Lord and put confidence in man. That is why I am saying to you tonight, it is so good to talk to you, but every night I come on this show here, you give me a lot of experience on the patches. I won't take up no more time, but you give me tonight, boy, you really, I tune in to get you. And I see the thing cut out. I said, what is this? That is, see you here. Bye-bye.
Have a good night. Have a good night, Bible man. I always welcome your spiritual interventions, your Bible verses, which I believe many people look forward to them as well, although some don't. But on Straight Talk, you are always welcome, my brother. Mr. Liburd reads this email. Have you heard that one of Nevis's bold and courageous lawyers, Mr. Cozier, brought against the Premier for malfeasance and other wrongful acts that he and his corrupt administration have done? magistrate of family and continue to be doing in the management of the affairs of Nevis that is contrary to the Constitution. Well, Mr. Liburd, the Premier and his lawyers tried their best at what they are accustomed to do, and questionable succeed in matters like these, and that is to get the court to strike out the cases brought against them on the grounds that there is no merit in the cases. However, Mark failed this time around, and the cases will proceed subsequently for a trial or hearing. Meanwhile, the court has ordered Mark to pay costs. Check it out. Mr. Liburd reads that email. Yes, I learned of it. Perhaps I'll get that court document as well in due course. Caller, you live. I thank you for holding you live. Hello, caller.
Pleasant good evening to you, Dr. Ian Patrick Liburd.
Your humble servant. Good evening, sir.
Okay, I like that. And good evening, Nabu and Mr. Straight Talk and Shabak, sir. Well, if you get a little distortion in the phone, rain started to fall just now.
Okay.
And it will be coming from the noise on the roof. But it sounds okay for now. Now, Patrick, let me start there with some pieces until I get them. $7.7 million. You know where that they gone? You ask the question, where have that money gone?
They gone.
Well, it was on the fourth there when you pass Mr. Brother going around, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got a hotel in the quarry. The vagabond who come to St. Kitts with no money and was chased out of Barbados, and he went into open arms by the snake. Come man, I can take you. I got money. I get 7.7 million from the Team Unity government, even though they did nothing. And then 400 million, who will give the snake that to hold? It's only who will live here. If they live in the sea, in a yellow submarine, and they don't know what's going on, they will be very wrong. Now look again now. Let me go to another point. You could see this Mickey Mouse, Sesame Street, cabinet people call themselves government. They don't know what they're doing because he has no plan. He went in there with no plan, and he hasn't written any plan. Why he passed, he let him why he passed with the amount of years in jail for certain crime. When he got his special advisor to him, national security advisor, telling people who are criminals and who would be criminal. If you know you are involved in a murder, borrow some money, buy a ticket and leave the country. So that is what you call a conflict of interest and a contrast of decision between the two of them. Look at them. One giving one advice, but he's still telling the criminal them run away. Run away from the land, the police them. But when things start wrong and you don't stop and fix it before you reach the end, it cannot end right. You're gonna mash up, go right down to the end. And that is what happening to this Mickey Mouse Sesame Street cabinet people, them call themselves government. And next thing again with that boy named Congress, he has no respect, no manners, no behavior, and the whole bunch of them, they all plan what they were going to do. They always plan that when the Honorable Dr. Harris gets up to speak, they must interrupt him as long as they can and as often as they can, and he going to get fed up and leave. But they get it today. They get it from the cow, C-O-W, cow, not as in the form of an animal. You know what it is, Patches?
Tell me.
3 books put together. When you want facts and truth, you go in any one of those 3 books. And that is what they're afraid of Dr. Harris. Because he has the truth and he speaks the truth when he gets up to talk. And I'm going to explain what the cow is. Collins Dictionary, Oxford Dictionary, and Webster Dictionary. C-O-W. And Dr. Harris is those 3 books in one. And they're afraid him. But I cannot stop him. because the whole country, the federation, realize now that they're really on the edge. You know, they change the program, you know, from Frank and Candy to the edge, on the edge, and they don't start to slide go down. And that is what they're afraid. So they're trying all kind of tricks. I'll come back with something else, Patrick. Thank you so long.
Thank you, as always, for your contributions, my dear brother. We always welcome them, and I welcome all those who may have just joined me as well. I am discussing, just for your information, my thesis, which I have titled, "All That Glitters Is Not Gold." And you hear those misfits, political misfits, my Straight Talk family, talk about what is being done. But they never talk about the bread and butter issues, my Straight Talk family. People can't find food to eat. People cannot afford to pay for gasoline. People are just hurting, my Straight Talk family. Madam Speaker reads this email. You are a very biased speaker. Not because you sit on the throne in the House of Assembly gives you the right to disrespect the former Prime Minister Harris when he's making his presentation. The terror and tone of your language trying to show off your powers and might on Harris is unwarranted. Remember, nothing lasts forever, and you ought to take careful note of that, for none of us knows what tomorrow holds. Harris is right. Whenever he opens his mouth to speak, the government members always want to shut him up. And you know that, Madam Speaker. So to say this is not so, and crosstalk is on both sides, but only when it comes to Harris you find it so. You have to change your bad and disrespectful attitude, Madam Speaker, and demonstrate fairness to both sides of the House. Reads that email. Patches, good evening. Story here again. One of the ministers, I'll get back to that. My Straight Talk family, let's go to the lines. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Good evening, everybody out there in Radioland, and good evening, my friend, the one whom for years I admired so much. Thanks for all of that you did to me. Good evening. How are you doing this evening?
I am peaceful, my dear brother, but I'm a little bit concerned. I thought we were friends for life and not just friends.
We are friends for life.
Okay, I haven't heard, and I asked someone for you a couple of days ago, haven't heard or seen you in ages. And trust
my friendship is not based along political lines. You're my friend.
Ditto. And
so it will always remain.
Likewise, my brother.
But I want to get to your topic very quickly here, because somebody asked me, I've just started to come back on the radio. By popular demand, I might add. Somebody asked me, why are we not hearing your voice? And I told them, quite frankly, if you have an opponent and you're fighting with him and you knock him out, and you knock him out cold for 5 years, are you going to continually kicking him? I'm not into overkill, but you're coming on strong. And you know, my friend, if I don't make an attempt to stop you, the potential exists that you would do damage to the minds of gullible people. It seems to me that of a desperate man reaching which is tantamount to majoring in the minors when you started by making a distinction between glistens and glitters, and to compound this trite and unforgivable error, a litany of warped, misguided propaganda was added to the utter discredit of the discriminating listener. You must agree with me that something has to be wrong with a man who started a new political party, to wit PLP, whereby not one founding member of that party remained in that party after becoming aware that the leader, one Timothy Harris, who portrayed himself as the nation's savior, was not but the proverbial Pied Piper, leading them and a then gullible and clueless nation into the abyss of irretrievable oblivion. To append, the then Honorable Dr. Douglas led Labour Party, an unholy, unwholesome alliance was formed with CCM, led by the Honorable Mark Brantley, and PAM, the People Action Movement, led by the Honorable Sean Richards. Consult them now, please, today, and ask them, after working with this man for over 7 years, what they now think about Timothy Harris. The man you regrettably, my friend, continue to faithfully defend. That's your right.
Well, can I interrupt you for a moment? I'm sorry to do this.
You may.
I'm sorry to do this, but I just wanted to interject that he needs no defense. My defense. He's quite capable of defending himself, and I'm sure you're aware of that.
Okay, and your point is well taken.
Okay, my brother.
But as you speak, because of time constraints, all the good it would do him to defend himself, he's so soiled. But as you speak, because of time constraints, I will simply offer a few provocative reminders. People, the indigent, the aged, and addicted are being fed 3 times per week in Constituency 8 by the innovative program started by the same Honorable Dr. Drew you so viciously denounce. The integrity in public life has finally passed, exchanging former opaqueness for transparency by the same Honorable Dr. Drew and his honorable ministers that you so viciously impugn. The $20 million missing dollars from Development Bank is now being restored by the same Honorable Dr. Drew and his honorable ministers whom you publicly love to hate. The CBI proceeds, and now for the first time shared with, guess who? A grateful populace by the same honorable Prime Minister Dr. Drew and his honorable ministers that you so carelessly deride. Now the shareholders of National Bank, and you got money. I know that. Because you took care of me.
My brother.
And you got money there. But the shareholders of National Bank denied the justly deserved dividends under your watch. Have now started getting them again because of the adroit and prudent financial management by the same Honorable Dr. Drew and his honorable ministers that you so easily scandalize. But I will tell you something.
My brother, I'm sorry I'm really sorry to interrupt you again, right? But I have to correct you. Lest your inaccuracy would go across the ear if I stay quiet, and people will believe, because the National Bank, for one, paid dividends. I am a shareholder of the bank, and they paid a stock dividend. Right?
So you were propaganda in the sense that when you left, nobody had gotten their dividends.
That is not correct. The National Bank paid a dividend. They paid a stock dividend. People are accustomed to cash dividend. That's why your prime minister peddles the nonsense, and you have to call him out for it. And when you say,
I'm going to tell you something. I have been here with you, and while soldiering with you, I was one of your most faithful soldiers before I had to part company. When the stench of corruption overwhelmed me, and I have never been publicly refuted yet. So I'll go back on that one. Please, allow me to bring in closing.
I'll allow you to close, but just one thing to clarify again before you I allow that to go to the airwaves. Now $5.8 million was spent on some water buckets without procurement for 1,000 tanks. And you're from St. Kitts. Doesn't that, aren't you smelling some stench of corruption? But continue. I'll let you finish.
All right. The Bible man just spoke, and I'm just going to proceed what I have to say, that the Bible says that we are made in the image of God, and he has placed eternity in our heart, which simply means we are always going to try to be more. The job that you aspire to is always going to seem more attractive than the one you have. Until you get there, as you did and made a mess of it, you could have the best woman doing everything a woman should. Man would still have an appetite for the strange womb. A traveler on a plane looking down sees smoke billowing from a chimney, he thinks of home, and the farmer looking up seeing a plane, he would be thinking about traveling on distant lands. The grass always, invariably, seems greener on the other side, but sometimes, oftentimes, when you get there, you come to the painful realization you would have been better served to stay right where you are and fertilize your own grass. But guess what? I am coming tonight, and I'm going into the fertilizer business. And I'm bringing tonight a truckload of fertilizer. How quickly we forget that this is a God-ordained country. And God is not the author of confusion. A house divided against itself must fall. We are no longer hearing the discordant clattering, that turn of melee that turned this blessed nation of ours into a veritable Tower of Babel. But guess what? Are you there?
Yes, I'm listening to you, Mike.
I'm closing with this.
Yes.
This is democracy. Yes. Everybody got their say.
True.
And democracy will always be a battleground of conflicting ideas.
Yes.
And so it is tonight. But we need not become antagonistic because we are still one, and there is a destiny that makes us brothers. None go his way alone. That which we project into the life of others invariably comes back into our own. My brother, I love you.
I love you more, my brother.
Even though I oppose you with every fiber of my being, and I will continue to love you even in your error. Good evening, folks.
Good evening, my brother. And that's my brother, Enver. And I know you may have wondered why I allowed him to continue. Seems like forever. He's my friend. I haven't heard him for a long time. I haven't seen him in almost a year. And I kept wondering, where is Enver? And I know he's never out of words, so I know it'll take some time. But good to hear you, Enver. And we need more Envers in this country that can speak up. But you must also, as you said, accept those who speak up as well. And I think you are more, the intellect I know you possess, Enver. You should not run with the nonsense that you hear in trying to defend the party of your choice, right? You must be able to say, this is so and this is not so. But let's go back to the lines, and I thank this caller for holding. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Good evening, Patrice.
How are you, my dear? Is it you I have holding on the line? I am so sorry.
Yourself you have holding here.
I am so sorry.
I really want to know what's happened to you tonight.
Not a thing, my dear. I can see your dimples. I'm good. What about yourself?
Okay, how are you?
I am peaceful. I am peaceful.
Okay. I'm excellent. Good to go.
Good to hear you.
Yeah. What I call it to speak about. Last week you played tape there with King Lawyer saying the Social Security
red
is in the red.
Yes, yes.
Well, I'm going to beg you please to tell King Lawyer, get it out of the red, bring it back in the green, because he promised every 6 months he's going to give back to you a $500, and because the time is coming, he get on top the thing and not come and talk about the country is in the red. Tell him get it out of the red, put it back in the green, and stop play with people in this place here. Because we ain't playing with him. So why would you get it in? Tell him I have to get it out. Because we ain't playing with him. He don't promise, and he's going to do what he promised. The next thing, Monday gone. Remember they hire all the bands and all the high fire dead to come up on top of the pasture. And the people there to come and jam. But they did not get what they want. And now because they ain't get what they want, they're blaming everybody for the 20 people that they had up there on top of the pasture with them on top of the road that jam. They're blaming everybody. They're blaming Pam. I do not know who they ain't blame. But me tell you, if they had get the amount of people to the amount of band that they hired, not a body would have been blame nobody. Would have never hear them. Would have see a lot of pictures on Facebook. But you ain't hear no picture on Facebook, and you ain't hear no radio I bring over the thing. So there is where they're going to say, tell them we're getting smart and sensible, so don't try that and tap us. Okay. You have a pleasant night.
Have a pleasant night as well. Always good to hear you, my Straight Talk family. It's 9:40, 12 before the 10 o'clock hour. And for those who may have joined me for the first time, Straight Talk is heard every Monday and Thursday from 8 to 10 in the PM. Patches reads this email. Good evening. Story here again in town. One of the ministers for Tourism and Music Festival's right hand applied for a bar at the music festival, and he said he sent a check of $5,000 and the check gone missing. Well, the bodyguard for the said minister, who is also the right hand son, he gave Tom, Dick and Harry the check, and when they investigated, nothing at all goes so. Well, Patches, because he's a right hand, they told him that he can just pay half the stipulated amount they charge for the bars, while every other single person has to pay the full amount of $10,000. This is not right, and this cannot be fair to other vendors. Is so labor really running the country? Well, not only that the minister's assistant, Little Bo Peep has the cleaners for the Pelican Mall taking sick leave left, right, and center because she threatening them like dogs. She speaks to them with arrogance and refuses to give them toilet paper to put in the bathrooms. Well, Patches, the workers say she can't even rule who she has home, but want to come to rule we the voters, but they're not putting up with that. Imagine she don't come to work, or if she do, she on the road gallivanting and collects a fat paycheck every month. But other workers are going through hell in the ministry. Honorable Minister needs to do better, and she better do better, or she will get sabotage and strikes in that ministry, reads this email. The Central Bar State representative, Ms. Henderson, gave the House what I consider misleading information in her attempt to discredit the police prosecutors and promote Crown Counsel prosecutors. She said that because the police are not lawyers, the Crown lawyers will do a better job. Madam, you're talking nonsense, stupidness, and you lie. You know how many times the police prosecutors have won cases against you in the magistrate's court? Many magistrates oftentimes is advised Crown Counsel had to advise Crown Counsels to sit in court and listen and learn from the police prosecutors. These Crown prosecutors are just lawyers in name and profession, but lack experience and have lost many cases. Mash, you know that. The police have had some great prosecutors that has often gained commendation from magistrates. They have done prosecutorial training, beg your pardon, in Barbados and other places, so they are well trained and experienced. So don't come to us with your baloney. Marshal, diminishing our police prosecutors in favor of your Crown prosecutors. Moreover, Inspectors Eddie and Henderson are lawyers and police officers as well. The government has a penchant of fooling and lying to the public, and they must stop it, reads this email. This other email reads, Congress, you just lie, show self, full of yourself and boasting. You made some false accusations about the former Speaker, Michael Perkins, when you were in opposition in the House. You were very rude and dishonest to him, and he had to put you in your damn forward place. You were very undiplomatic to him to do not expect any support from you and other members of the opposition because you don't think he should be the Speaker. And you gave him a lot of trouble in that House that he had to suspend you at one time. Talk the truth, man, reads this other email. Patches, I cannot believe that what I read this evening was true. I read Sean that has been awarded a PhD from the University of the Virgin Islands, and his thesis was based on the peace program in St. Kitts. My goodness, Patches, was this not the same man who, along with Grant, was saying they do not know anything about the peace program. If this program was not well organized and structured, such a thesis would not have passed the test to be accepted as a doctoral thesis. What manner of man is Sean? Reads this email. I hear them calling some price what they pay for upgrade in a school. Reads this other email. And this email reads, Patches, that gun bill they passed in the National Assembly today had nothing to do with them caring about crime in this country. If people were listening carefully, they would have realized that it was a discussion some Caribbean leaders had that just recently. It had nothing to do with us. It was all about themselves to boast and posture. Reads this email. Patches, if this government thinks that introducing stiffer gun laws will reduce crime in this country, they are so wrong and ignorant. The root of the problem is poverty. Poor people in this country are suffering and can't find food to eat. A hungry man is an angry man. These worthless, selfish, greedy vagabonds in government just traveling all about the place, living the high life on the backs of the poor people in this country. This government throws thousands of poor people off the path and increase their own salaries. Look at some of the ministers, how fat they are getting. Some of the male ministers in the government look like they are pregnant, how they are eating like hogs. Poor people want to eat good food too. Read this email. Let's go to the lines. Caller, thank you for holding your live. Hello, caller.
I'm just going to take 2 minutes because I know we are almost out of time. This one should rather intrigue you because you are highly intelligent. A fact that prominently shines through. You went to school in the public school system, in the private school system.
Public.
I said public or private. I'm asking a question. In the public school system or the private school, have you ever heard?
I'm saying public.
No. I wasn't referring to you.
Oh, you're generalizing you. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm generalizing.
I'm sorry, my
In the public or private school system.
Okay, got you.
From primary school to secondary school, have you ever heard on the curriculum any such subject as financial literacy? I'm sure you have never, ever heard it, except when it was implemented by this government, I suppose seriously, and voted for ardently. Isn't that worthy of acclamation? Yes or no?
That's a question? That's a question?
Is it worthy of acclamation?
If what is worthy? I thought it was a rhetorical question, so it passed.
It's not. I just want to hear you say it because on no other island you see, and the people are getting monies per child, $1,000 each. Isn't this worthy again, I ask, of both acclamation and emulation?
Well,
the jacket.
But let me respond. I'm trying to respond. I really haven't, quite frankly, analyzed it because, the concept is a good one, but I haven't really studied it, in totality to tell you whether it is in terms of the benefits to be derived, right? Because it's just $1,000. But the idea of getting children to understand or learn that or to save That's how my interpretation is. It can't be derided.
Because that's the oil. That is the gas that drives the engine. Finance. We don't know a darn thing about finances. Even people with master's degree. They're financially illiterate. But to learn that almost out of the cradle, that certainly has to be worthy of acclamation. And I want to hear you say it before I go.
Yeah, but what since you raised the issue of financial literacy, right? I mean, sometimes you wonder if the Prime Minister is in that category, you know? When he talk
one more quick statement. One more quick statement.
Social Security in the red, you know?
30 seconds. One more quick statement. In ancient Greece, there was a man by the name of Diogenes walking around with a lit lamp in broad daylight under the blazing sun. Somebody asked him, "Man, are you crazy? Why are you doing that?" You know what his response was? "Come on, you're a learned man." He said, "I'm looking for one honest man." I love you, servant. Ian, that is Liburd. Be honest. That's all I'm asking of you.
I love you as well.
Good evening, folks.
Envoy is his element tonight. Haven't heard him for a long time. Patches, I hope Dr. July and his band of bandits got the message during the Labor Day march a few days ago. This was the worst I have ever seen. Not even the jammers who always come to jam and have a good time were present. Just a handful. People are fed up and disappointed with this government. I am glad that the people are finally waking up and realizing that this government don't give a damn about them. These heartless people in government took away everything from the people that were making them happy and living a decent life. How could they expect us to come out and march with them? We have had enough of you all, a worthless set of vagabonds. And my Straight Talk family, we've listened to my friend, and he's my friend for life, Enver. And I want you to understand that is what Straight Talk is all about. We will have contending views, we'll have different views, but we don't need to get disagreeable. Caller, thank you for holding your live.
Yeah, Patrice, I'm back. This to me little piece. Patrice, you know why a grasshopper does get eaten by a lot of predators? Because it wouldn't stay one place for long. It keep jumping. Looking for what? So when...
You're the great philosopher now, eh? Grasshopper jumping. I see where you're going. I understand.
Okay. He might get away from a dog, not a fowl. So, some people think the busting of a human skin and bloodshed is the only crime. No, they got white collar crime sitting down behind office in air conditioned crime, just as bad as cutting somebody's skin. Remember, Lucifer said that you got to pay those people the good money, or whatever word he used to describe the kind of big money that they get. You got to pay them in order that they don't get corrupt. But how the poor people who money they take away from them ain't thieving and going to jail? How they being contented with what they get? But is God make this world? And I'm glad God ain't had no signboard mark God and Company. Because who believe that they're clean and the heart and they're more Christian than anybody else? Hey, they will never be able to make no kind of instrument to diagnose hypocrisy and crookedness and malice and all kind of wickedness in the heart of human. Only God alone knows it. Lip could say anything, but the heart says something else. Crooked nigger, a lot of them there who getting money for nothing, ain't working for it. They gone in there and they grabbing, and so they grab, they gonna be here up on a plane, wasting the money, and then coming back to tell the country what they do. and what they accomplish and what they achieve. The breakdown, Mr. Bratcher House, he ain't finished yet. The breakdown, patches the breakdown, you school, the grammar school building, he ain't start and finish yet. They refuse to build a school for the children to learn. Instead of that, they're going to talk about center for the arts. For people to come here to say they're going in here, go perform, singing on stage, and busting bad word, while the children are suffering without a place to go to school. Patches, thank you for the time. Until next week, God willing. Have a good night.
Thank you, my brother, for your contribution. Always good to hear you. Patches, I heard Congress Maynard said today that they have gotten the test results for the water. He also said that tomorrow they will be commissioning the new well. What I was waiting to hear was who had done the final testing. The government can't be trusted. I think the results should be published online so we can all see for ourselves. Why is this a secret? What are they hiding? We should not allow this until we see that test results from a reputable institution. Everything is being hidden, and that's the part it really irritates my straight dog family. Patches, don't let Mr. Pemberton hijack the program. That's what Dr. July does. He gets people to call in on talk shows to distract people from talking about the worthless government. He's going to do it all time to derail the show. Remember what Curtis used to do? He's doing the same thing. Reads that email. And these are my emails. I'm happy that I can dispense of them. I really don't like when I don't get my emails all out, because the emailers are an integral part as well of the show. And my Straight Talk family, as we wind down tonight, for those of you who may have joined me belatedly, I titled my thesis tonight, All That Glitters Is Not Gold. And I made the point from beginning that this theme, the title of my theme, I got it from, and I said as well that I'm not a student of literature, but somewhere I read, and I know I heard my friend Casey Tony Ross, who always quotes Shakespeare, and I found that quotation, all that glitters is not gold. It's a saying that refers to a line in Shakespeare's play, The Merchant of Venice, read from a note in Act 2, Scene 7. But my Straight Talk family, I also try to put it into context, as I did in fact give you the background in terms of the original line in the play, which is all that glistens is not gold, and some people use glisters. The modern phrase uses the word glitters, which is a variance of early modern English word glistens. And I love the full quote, and I think I should read it before I depart, which reads, "O hell, what have we here, a carrion death within whose empty eye there's a written scroll. I read the writing, all that glistens is not gold. Often have you heard that told, many a man his life hath sold. But my outside to behold, gilded tombs do worms enfold. Had you been as wise as bold, young in limbs, in judgment old, your answer had not been in scroll. Fear you well, your suit is cold." But I use the full quote, all that glitters is not gold, And I believe, and I put and provided some context along with an explanation. And I found that in a post from a stalwart, a labor stalwart, who posted this on her Facebook page, which I used to put this title of my thesis into its context. And in departing, I must also read it with your indulgence. I grew up hearing that PAM means people after money. The table has turned. The SKNLP, that's the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party, has hijacked and adopted the slogan in grand style. Their closely knit circle of grabbers, take all, cannot survive without the coffers of the taxpayers. They are receiving pension, social security, and board membership fees, in addition to a lucrative job with the government. To do what? These persons, some of whom have passed their age of retirement, cannot relax at home or bask in the sunshine. What a pity. Too much, but never enough. My people, the disadvantageous regime has certainly lost its way and pretending that everything is okay. This is indicative of his governance style. Proceed on Vaca, and you'll be unceremoniously replaced by an actor. Does it look and sound familiar? The thug's behavior was not different. The Abba Saba effect. And that's a post from a stalwart, a labor stalwart, my straight dog family. Not from me, from a labor stalwart. And like the Shakespeare account of the beautiful, educated, and highly accomplished young Portia, was left with the fortune of the death of her wealthy father, Terence Michael July and his misfits in a cabinet were left with a golden opportunity to make a real difference in the lives of every single man, woman, boy, and girl in our federation, many of whom were traumatized by a corona-induced pandemic never seen in a century, and one that brought the world to a complete standstill. Yet you will hear a heartless leader touting nonsense about lifting of all COVID restrictions. Like this, he said, my straight dog family, nonsense.
The lifting of all COVID-related travel restrictions in August 2022. And I will say it was August 7th, 2022, a Sunday night at our Marriott Hotel, where that decision was made with all of the relevant persons in the room, including the CMO and others. I will say it again. The lifting of all COVID-related travel restrictions in August 2022 sparked a strong rebound in the tourism sector and across the economy, end of quote. IMF stating it. Remember, Madam Speaker, I said to the people that a travesty had been committed when the then administration refused to open the economy fully by removing the unnecessary restrictions. Had we not done that, the economy would have lagged even more. And because we took so long to open up the country and remove the restrictions, the economy lagged. Reports will show that the St. Kitts Nevis economy recovered almost the slowest in the OECS as a result of this. All of the other countries had removed their restrictions and they were open for business to the point where some countries had higher numbers in terms of their tourism numbers than even 2019, Madam Speaker. However, St. Kitts and Nevis lagged because the previous administration refused to open up the country, and we are still feeling some of the effect from that. Had the economy been opened up as others, or at the same time as others, we would have recovered since by the end of 2023.
My Straight Talk family, what nonsense comes from the mouth of a medical doctor about the economy recovered the slowest in comparison to other countries in the region. Other countries, he said, had higher numbers in respect of their tourism numbers. But why isn't Dr. July guided by the profound wisdom encapsulated in the Hippocratic Oath, to which all doctors ought to be committed? I'm so disappointed. As my doctor friend told me one time, that this Hippocratic Oath contains a clear principle that forms the backbone of medical ethics and summarizes the essence of patient care. The doctor's commandment, he called it, is to first do no harm. So my Straight Talk family, when he makes these pronouncements about being the slowest economic recovery, why don't he pronounce as well? We had the lowest COVID deaths, my Straight Talk family, and all the countries he referred to. But as we wrap, my Straight Talk family, we reflect as well on the danger lurking within the Federation, as there is a political predator across the Narrows, there in Nevis, waiting like a black mamba snake to exert his harmful or destructive influence on the development of geothermal in Nevis. When you hear him talk, my Straight Talk family, you wouldn't believe, he'll make you believe that people were trying to impede the progress in Nevis. When he got $7.7 million as the NIA leader, never said what he did with it as the premier leading the NIA. When the legacy issues, he himself knows about them. Like this, my Straight Talk family.
This geothermal project, has been an exercise that has now occupied the minds of governments, and even through change of governments on the island of Nevis since about 2004. And so as we stand here today in November of 2017, we're talking about now 13 years that we have been trying to get to a point where we can move this project forward. I think the advantages of geothermal are well known. We're talking about clean energy, green energy, cheaper energy, and a renewable resource that really puts Nevis in a category of its own. If we can achieve what we intend to achieve here, it means that Nevis becomes fossil fuel free for this generation of electricity. It puts us really in a category of our own in the Caribbean and perhaps in the world in terms of being completely sustainable for our electricity supply.
But my Straight Talk family, as I said, Brantley got millions for Nevis to develop its geothermal. And he himself, he spoke about it, my Straight Talk family. He spoke about the millions that he got to develop geothermal in Nevis. And he got it from the Team Unity administration. He must remember this, my Straight Talk family.
Unity took office in 2015. We got a geothermal project, 7.7 million.
But my Straight Talk family, the snake Brantley never gave a report on how this $7.7 million was spent. And he ought to tell the country where the money gone, snake. And we have an incompetent leader at the helm of the Federation whose greatest asset is a lie. But he allowed Mark to sell him a used car driven by a criminal, French criminal, my street dog family. And he was not clever enough to get a mechanic to do a thorough inspection of the car before he bought it from the snake Mark Brantley, my street dog family. That's how simple I would put it. I must tell you before I leave and ask what's happening in the offshore financial or banking sector in Nevis. It's bothersome, my street dog family, bothersome. The FRC in Nevis, like the FRC in St. Kitts, is a regulatory body for financial services. But anti-money laundering, corruption, and other crimes are rampant in Nevis. My street dog family, customers are claiming left, right, and center. Left, right, and center, my street dog family. How could this be allowed to continue? Why are the doors of the Bank of Nevis International Limited still open? The NIA under Mark Brantley issued the banking license. The snake Mark Brantley has oversight as the Minister of Finance in Nevis. What is the FRC in Nevis doing about this, my street dog family? What is the Prime Minister and Minister of Finance in the federal government doing about this as well? What is the crooked Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkin doing about this? The FRC in Nevis is quiet. The FRC in St. Kitts is also quiet. And the crooked Attorney General is quiet. While the fugitive and CEO of the bank, Michael Press, is on the loose. Meanwhile, scores of its customers cannot recover the millions of dollars invested in this financial institution. All that glitters is not gold, my street dog family. Geothermal, if it comes to fruition, it would need $400 million, my street dog family. The NIA on the snake Mark Brantley's broke. So where would that money come from? We ask. Should the federal government put the St. Kitts Treasury at risk? Will this be another CBI revenue or fair share issue? How would the revenue from geothermal be shared? These are questions that ought to be ventilated, my straight dog family. My straight dog family, we are suspicious of a man who has spent his whole political career fighting the Labour Party, he said. My straight dog family, our CBI is failing. Our offshore banking sector is corrupted. Crime is on the rise. The cost of living is getting higher and higher. And our leaders are stuck in the past, my straight dog family. I shared with you as well the fact that the resource geothermal in Nevis is governed. It is governed, my straight dog family, by the Nevis Geothermal Resources Development Ordinance, my straight dog family. And it speaks to the duty of the Crown to promote the exploration and development of its geothermal resource. It's on your monitors. I'm not making that up. I'm reading from it. And read in section 2. To assure the supply of energy necessary for economic growth and general welfare of the people of Nevis, and to decrease the dependency of Nevis on non-renewable resources. Not one mention about St. Kitts Nevis. So how can we go forward without repealing that ordinance? Should we repeal it now before you get or spend $400 million? Or should you repeal it after we spend $400 million? I don't trust the snake, Mark Brantley, leading it. I hear you say, hell no, my Straight Talk family. But when we look at all these things we examine tonight, it's easy to conclude that all that glitters is not gold. That's my story tonight, my Straight Talk family, and I'm not going to change it. But I'll thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation tonight, as always. I want to thank you, the callers. I want to thank you, the many listeners. I want to thank the emailers. And just to let you know that you are the ones who make Straight Talk. And for that, I say a big, big thank you. We'll connect on Monday, my Straight Talk family, for another edition of Straight Talk. Until then, be good to yourselves and to all whom you meet. And remember that whatever your mind conceives, that you will achieve. But first of all, you just got to believe. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light. Thank Him for taking you through the night. And my Straight Talk family, keep moving on until we connect on Monday for another edition of Straight Talk. Bye-bye. Keep moving on, my Straight Talk family.
The morning, I thank God for the morning light. Give Him thanks and praises for taking me safely through the night. For the rest of food